Colin Hunt. I do wood burning, and I started a business called Exulon Burning. And so we're going to get going here in a second. As people jump on here, and give people a second to jump on here, I'm curious what everyone is, where everyone's from. So if you're type in the chat box where you're from, I'd love to figure out where, if you're from Michigan, where in Michigan you are, or if you're even outside of Michigan, it'd be kind of cool to know where everyone's from. So, and then while you guys are doing that, I'm going to throw on here. All right. And all right. Okay, so so we got people from Florida, got people from Royal Oak, Brighton. We have wow, okay, sweet. So we got people from even from Florida, man. This is awesome, guys. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started here, and people can jump on as we go. So I'm actually from Zambia. I grew up in southern Central Africa, and I grew up there. My parents still are missionaries there, and so I was born there, and I've grown up there my entire life. And so so basically, yeah, I moved to the United States about 2016 for college, and then I went ahead and moved to Michigan 2017, and I'm finishing up my degree in sign language interpreting, where I will have one more year to finish. I'm Madonna University up in Livonia area. So I'm really excited to finish that and get that degree. So I actually started wood burning. I did that when I was a teenager. My sister, she gave me a wood burner, like a cheap one from Walmart, when I was 13. And I really did small little like sayings and crafts as gifts for people. That was my thing to do. And it wasn't until I moved to the States in 2016 that I wanted to make a little extra income. So I started I bought some books and try to push myself in my wood burning artwork and try to sell that. About a year and a half later, I actually started wood burning, doing wood burning as like a business, and trying to set up a website, set up social media, and really try to do that. Yeah, and so it's really been it's been awesome to do the artwork for the last year and a half. I do a lot of selling online, and I also go to art shows and do that. So, okay, and if you can see your screen, you should be able to see I have obviously on there my online store. So if you go on there, you can find me. If you go on social media, depending on what you want, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm also on Patreon. If you want to get some really cool access to things and videos, you can join us on Patreon. And also, if you join up to my email list, you can get 10% off. And if you go onto my website, you can log in on there. So the plan really is to so I just talked about me, and I'm going to show you my artwork that I have that I was actually going to bring up to this show this weekend. I'm going to also then go ahead and do a live demonstration, and then if you guys have any questions, then I'll try to answer those for you near the end of the time that we have together. So so before I jump into the artwork I have, I really want to just explain like why I do wood burning. So there's a lot of people that want like artwork for their home, and they're like trying to tell a story with their home with unique artwork by an artist. And so that's kind of where I try to take my experience of growing up in Africa and create unique pieces of African wildlife is my main thing that I do, but also other pieces of like my perspective of just from growing up in Africa. And I'll actually show you one of the cool pieces I've done recently based on that. But that's kind of the goal, is to try to create pieces of artwork for people that they can enjoy every day and just design a home that they love to show off and they can't wait to show to people. So that really gets me excited to do, and that's what I just love. I love doing. And so we're going to dive in here. I'm going to show you my artwork. I did a pre-recording of my artwork, and I did that. Really, it was just a lot easier to show it to you guys, and I'll just talk as I show off my work here. All right. You guys should be able to see that screen there. Let me know if you can't. So these are my coasters I do. These coasters are all wood burned right into the piece of wood. And then they're finished off with like a finish that is like, that seals the wood so they don't get any damage, water damage. This is actually my most popular piece, the elephant piece here I'm holding. And it's all burned and then has that cork backing so it doesn't scratch any table. And these are like $25 each. If you go on my website, and I'll show that link again at the end of the, but if you go on my website, they're $25 each. And they are, if they do get damaged for some reason, if you're using it and it gets water damage, I do replace them for free. That's how confident I am in those. And so I have a lot of these pre-made, but obviously if you want a good number of coasters, I can make even more of those. So I have different ones. I have the hip, I have the rhino, here's the leopard. I have several giraffe pieces that I have that you can purchase. And each piece takes me about 30 to 45 minutes to do. So there's a good amount of time just burning in each piece. And I'll actually do a live demonstration later, but I start off with a piece, like I print out a picture that my dad has taken growing up in Africa, and then put that on the wood and kind of use that as a template. But it's all freehanded, all free hand burn. There's two new coasters I just did that I was going to bring to this show. It's this hippo one. It's my first hippo I've done wood burned. It's kind of a fun piece to do. And this other elephant piece was the other brand new coaster I created. It was just kind of, I just really enjoy trying to get that look of the elephant's rough skin burned into a piece of wood. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So those are the two pieces that I have brand new I was going to bring to the show. So you can get those on my website. The other things that I just started was these coaster boxes that you can buy with a set of coasters. They hold about 4 to 6 coasters in it, and they're got the little Africa burned into it, so they can complement any African wildlife piece coasters that you purchase. And it's interlaid with like a velvet. I mean, obviously you can't feel that, but it's a velvet cushioning that the coasters will sit in. So it's a really cool box to pair with any coaster set that you buy. I'm really excited about those. Just like 2 weeks ago, made those. So, and then here's my coaster set. One of the coaster sets I recommend buying. You can get either 4 of them or 6, a set of 4 or a set of 6. And I call it the bold set just because they are looking at you very. So you've got you got the rhino, impala, giraffe, elephant, zebra, and then the hippo. So they're really a cool set to have. It's one of my most popular sets, and you can just, yeah, it's fun. I love these coasters. They're almost they're newer. I just started offering these coasters. So yeah, it's just a demonstration of like how they go into the box. You can pair them, and that's a set of 6 in there, and they make a nice set just to display on your table, or even as a gift for a friend. So So those are my coasters. I really love the coasters. They're a little they're faster to do than a lot of my other pieces, and I enjoy creating those. I'm going to go ahead and all right, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the artwork I was going to bring to the show. These are a lot more intensive pieces I created. Most of it is wood burned. There's some watercolor that you see, like the color you see is watercolor, but it's all wood burned. So like, for example, in this rhino piece, you've got that wood burned rhinos, but you have a little bit of the green and pink for the background. And sitting in front of that is the prints that you can also purchase. A really popular piece I have is the wood burned Gentle Giant, which is that really big piece in front of you. And you also get prints of that. And so just a variety of artwork from the, got that, the Elephant's Journey, you have the drafts, you have a world map. And again, all these are based off of like my time growing up in Africa. I print out like a picture and just freehand that picture with wood burning. And then so you've got the argument with the birds, you have a silhouette of elephants. The watering hole, which is a really fun piece, just got a bunch of elephants up the water, and then the zebra with its prints that you can purchase. And there's a quote by Dr. Seuss. So I really want to talk about this piece specifically. This piece is a lot of fun in the sense that it was one of my perspective series pieces, the first one I've done, and it's called Is It Worth It? So I took it from the idea that in retail, there's people get really upset about random stuff, right? And often they'll get so worked up over something so small. So I created this piece about this lady yelling about her messed up food. And there's people across the world, and specifically in Africa, who would love to eat that food. And so I called it, is it worth it? Like, is it worth getting so worked up over when there's people across the world that would love to have that? So it's all wood burning, it's awesome, and framed in the floater frame. It has a little bit of watercolor right there on the sandwich, just to kind of draw the eye to, that's like the focal point. But yeah, that piece took me, it took me almost 6 months to create because I was so busy with a lot of other projects. But I finally finished that like a month ago. So that was, just love that piece. And last but not least is I have two more pieces over here. I ran out of space on my tables. But this is the Heart of Africa. It's a 3-panel piece. And when hung on a wall, it's about 2 feet by 4 feet, roughly. It's got all wood burned, like the elephants there are wood burned. And I have a watercolor for the water and the tree there in the corner. But other than that, it's all wood burned. And I actually do a video. If you follow me on YouTube, and next week Friday, I'm going to publish a video talking through this piece as like a time lapse of me creating this piece and talking through how I created it. So it's gonna be a really, really fun piece. So you gotta check me up on that. And then last is I have this piece. You can see it. It's just a silhouette with a little bit of watercolor in the background. It's a fun piece to hang on the wall. And there's also, obviously you can get prints of that as well if you go on my website. So that is a rundown of my work. And I really, really just enjoy what I do and get to do that. I do this full time. So it's a lot of fun to do that. So I'm going to throw up here the same thing I have. So you guys can, while I'm talking, if you want to go on my website, sign up for my email list, or even follow me on social media, just typing in Zulum Burning for social media, you'll find me. So that is it. I really, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's all wood burning except for a couple pieces I do with watercolor. But my goal again is to just create unique pieces, using my time growing up in Africa to create those pieces people enjoy. So then I'm going to go ahead and do actually a live demonstration of wood burning one of my coasters. And we'll go ahead here and do that.
Hey, Colin, someone had a question about if you've gotten close to any of these animals while growing up.
Yep. Yeah, I was literally about to answer that. Yeah, Alex asks if I got any close to any of these animals growing up. So yeah, in Kitwe, I grew up, it's the second largest city. It's actually near Congo. It's a copper mining city. So I had to go at least an hour outside the city to see any African wildlife. But I did often get to see them. It was a lot of, yeah, I just enjoyed the wildlife there. So much fun. I even did in high school, I actually rode an elephant once. So very kind of, it was just it's really cool to see the African wildlife up close. And I mean, I lived in Africa my entire life, so I got to do that often. So I really, really enjoyed that. So I'm going to be doing an elephant for demonstration here right now. So I'll transition to that right here. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, I hope you guys can see that. So I'll actually be wood burning this elephant when I showed it to you in the video earlier. And again, yeah, it's all burned right in there. And I actually started one already, and I just wood burned the legs, and I'm going to go ahead and finish off the leather skin like in the elephant's ears and like the folds in the skin in the trunk. So again, I take a printout, like this is a picture my dad took growing up, and I just lay it on the wood with some graphite paper, trace it out, give myself an outline, and then I work from there. So this is my wood burner. I do all my work with it. It is, I have a dial here that allows me to adjust the temperature so that I can do it like a cold heat, and then turn up the temperature a little bit, and just build the layers with each adjustment. And then I have different tips as well that I can throw on here. But I don't know if you guys can see that, but this one's called a shader, and I do a lot of my work with it. And it has more of a flat tip on it, and it allows me to make the texture of the elephant's of that rough elephant skin leather look. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. I'm gonna adjust my temperature like that. All right. So I usually try to go for wherever it's darker on the piece and kind of work to where it's lighter. So I'm working on the shadow here between the elephant's ear and its trunk. And I'm kind of doing like a circular motion for the skin on the elephant's ear to try to create that leather look. And I kind of do it fast, in a faster motion the first time to create a light burn. And then I'll come back and do it a little bit slower. I can even adjust my heat a little bit hotter. The second time coming over the same burn to create the darker look I'm going for. So as you can tell, this takes a lot of time and a lot of work trying to build the layers and trying to get the correct, because if you go too hot, too fast, it just scorches the wood and you can't get the look that you're going for. And so you just have to be very gentle, very slow in what you're doing to try to get it to look right. And so as you can tell, I was going to say is that if I'm doing a really big piece, like some of the pieces I showed you earlier, so some of those pieces, it can take me like 10 hours to do, or even longer. But just because I'm covering so much wood, there's so much wood to burn, so it takes me a lot of hours to get the correct look. But compared to these coasters, it only take me about 30 minutes to do.
Carolyn, can I ask you a question while you're doing that?
Yeah, go ahead.
We had a question from the audience, actually from my dad. He wants to know, when you finish school, will you stay in the States?
It's a very legitimate question. My long-term goal is to not stay in the States. My long-term goal is to go back to Zambia where I grew up and work. There is a Bible college that my dad started there, training pastors, and they have a sign language program that they just started, and they're trying to expand to an interpreting program. So my goal is to go there after a couple of years of experience under my belt with interpreting and help start the interpreting program. In Zambia, there's very few interpreters compared to like here in the States. You see interpreters all the time, at different appointments or even on TV. But in Zambia, there's just a handful, a very small handful of interpreters for the entire country. So I'd love to go back and start interpreting program. As far as my artwork, I plan to do this even for the next 5 years before I go to Zambia. And once I do go to Zambia, will I still do wood burning and sell it like I'm doing as like a business? I don't know. I hope I plan to, but I'm not sure exactly how I'll do the shipping and stuff like that. But for now, I've got maybe 5 more years before I'll plan to even consider going back to Zambia. But yeah, those are my 2 loves right now. It's just artwork and sign language in the deaf community. It's awesome. So. All right. So that's about one side of the ear. I'll give it one more minute before I take any more questions from and actually take questions from you guys. So if you want to type in your questions now, I'll answer those here in a second. But I just want to really show you like the folds in the skin on the elephant trunk. These are so yeah, obviously I got to put a lot more work into that to get it to look right. But you can start to see as I do it, it's starting to become more, you get the round shape of the trunk as you add more shading and start getting those like folds. And so it really is a lot of fun to create these coasters, and I really enjoy these. So yeah, definitely guys, if you love these coasters, you want one, yeah, make sure to go online, get that 10% off, and purchase the set. So that's basically it. And I look forward to doing this. And it's fun. It's been fun to do this with you guys. Be able to the art show being canceled, but we we were able to do this, let you guys see see what I was already going to bring, and even do a live demonstration. So that's it's awesome. So again, there's the link for my website and social media. I mean, like if you want the latest updates on my newest pieces, on time-lapse videos that I'm doing, yeah, definitely follow me on social media. You get it fast. And then if you want exclusive offers, you can also join my email list, which you can also find on the art show. All right.
Thank you so much, Colin. That was really great.